The seagulls follow trawler. It's because they think sardines will be thrown into the sea. Thank you very much.
Talking nonsense. So I thought, no, enough's enough. Why should I put up with that? Talking nonsense. So I thought, no, enough's enough. Why should I put up with that? Don't back down, double down. Don't back down, double down.
Yes, here we go. It's still -9 outside. Terry Rob, you join me for the P.M.P, big man. And thank you so much for joining me, because I've been speaking non-stop for the last two and a bit hours, mate. And utter nonsense. You can bring some clarity to the bus, mate. Some sensible opinion, some sort of reaction that people will find tangible to reality. Terry Rob, welcome aboard the bus. How are you, mate?
Yeah, not too bad, boys. Not too bad. I went on very quickly during the first half just to see if you were on your own or if you'd somebody on with you, and then I left you to it.
Honestly, I must have lost the plot, man. But it was good fun, and I appreciate everyone who joined us on the bus, because it was class. It was a throwback, Terry, what we did, the fan cam live, because that was something, if you remember, we were doing right at the very, very, very start, when it was kind of a one-man band at that point. I was like, Mr.
Right.
Boone. I wonder if anyone remembers him. You know, playing the front drum, the cymbals, you know what I mean, the guitar all at the same time, harmonica in my mouth. That was what it was like, mate. So, anyway, the game itself, very interesting. It's funny how one goal can change the whole dynamic of a match. We were going to get Terry's opinion on all of it. You've probably heard all of mine if you were tuned in at the time. If not, welcome aboard. I know there's strong competition out there right now on YouTube. There's loads of Celtic pods out right now. So, join the one they're allowed a beer on. Why not? But before we get into that, we'll do all that good stuff, as Phil McGinley would call it. Do hit the like, do hit subscribe. Give it a wee share if you want. If you're feeling mental. If you want to become a Bhoys to Bus member, like so many of you have, like Belly, like David Ferguson, like Paul Dyatt, like Brown Warrior, then you're more than welcome to do that. Of course, it's completely optional. Joseph McGonigal, there's another Bhoys to Bus member. But yes, Joseph, you must have paid Joseph a tenner, Terry. Evening troops, good to see Terry as a quick healer. You know what I mean? You're getting compliments already, mate.
It's coming along not too bad.
But yes, we are going to talk about the game tonight. It did finish 2-1. I think there could have been at one point a million different scorelines, Terry. I'll be honest to you, pal. That game could have been, and I think we need to, the elephant in the room for me was how we dealt with the goal. I don't want to be all negative, because at the end of the day, we're still 9 points clear in a supposed title race. And we were no point flapping. We were no point, faltering, I don't think. But that goal that Livy got completely changed the dynamic of a game that I thought I would describe that first half, Terry, as control. Right up until a lack of concentration, and in my opinion, I thought it was sloppy, and I would put it on. I thought that there was a bit of hesitancy for the goalkeeper.
Yeah, I mean, the first half, I think the second goal really just gave us the margin that our play in the first half deserved, because it was extremely comfortable in the first half.
Aye.
And you got the second goal and you thought, yeah, do you know what? We're going in at half-time 2-0. And then I just didn't see that goal coming. I really didn't see it coming. I don't know. It almost felt as if it was happening in slow motion or something.
Aye.
And you're thinking, right, what on earth's going on here? And I think from there, what was a comfortable performance then became an uncomfortable watch, certainly for me anyway, because I don't think we picked it up again in the second half. The second half we weren't as comfortable. I didn't feel that Livy were a threat at any stage, but I did still just have this sort of niggling feeling, this could go wrong here. There was one long range effort that Joe Hart saved, and there were a few balls into the box. It's always concerning just when you've got that one goal advantage, and that's kind of been the way it's been for the last while. If we look at the two games after the World Cup and the previous 3, 4, 5 before that, we're winning games by one goal, and again, it's hard to be downbeat about that. We're winning matches, but it does feel there's just something lacking a little bit. We should be more comfortable in these games. We're not taking our chances, and I'm not concerned at this point. But games like that tonight, we should have been out of sight in that, and we're not hanging on. We're not hanging on at the end. They're not peppering our goal, but it is still a 1-goal margin, and there's always that little bit of doubt that a long high ball into the box or something in the last few minutes, and before you know it, you're dropping points. But thankfully, that wasn't the case for us.
Terry, we need to talk about the chances created by Celtic first half. It's going to be the story of the season, mate. Right? I'm telling you right now, it's going to be the story of the season unless it's addressed in January. Now, I've got a different benefit of 60, 70 Celtic fans literally telling you as they see it during the fan cam live, mate. But I called it after the first ball went across their 6-yard box, inside their 6-yard box. Let's get it clear. In front of their goal, and there's no takers. Then I wonder if this is going to be the story of the night. There was 3 more occasions that occurred, Terry, because there's no one there gambling. Kyogo gambles once, he scores. And it was a wonderful finish, right? It was a wonderful finish. I don't want to take anything away for that. But he doesn't gamble again after that. Even in the second half, he's not making the right runs. And Celtic are playing a style of football. And if Giakoumakis isn't the answer for Ange, do you know what? I bow to his knowledge and I bow to whatever he sees, on the training ground that we don't have, access to. If he's made his mind up on Giakoumakis, which in my opinion, I feel he has, I'll be completely honest, because the delay on bringing him on, etc., is just going on.
It's starting to look that way.
I'm glad you think the same, because you can see it now. You're going, how on earth was he only worth coming on in the 81st minute tonight?
I said at the weekend, with these 3 matches across a week, I expected him to sort of share the time out, and 8 minutes tonight, or whatever it was, 8 minutes plus stoppage time, wasn't really what I was thinking. I kind of expected Giakoumakis to come in tonight, to be honest. And if he doesn't start the game at the weekend, then I'm starting to think he's gone, to be honest.
I just felt we're playing a style of football, Terry, where there probably is at times, right, one too many passes, right? There probably is one too many passes. But it seems quite obvious the objective is get it eventually to the byline, do the cutback, and there'll be a tap in there. We ain't got anyone to tap it in because Kyogo isn't reading the room. Now, I don't think this is all a huge guilty point on Kyogo, by the way. I don't think he's a bona fide predator striker. I don't think he was ever signed. I think he's ever played as a poaching sort of number 9. I think that's what we're missing. For whatever reason, Ange is not going to square the circle with Giakoumakis.
Yeah.
To me, it doesn't matter what he does, right? Something's happened. We don't know what, and I'm not speaking like ITK or any of that bullshit, but I can read enough from my very limited lens that And there's an obvious answer to the balls who are playing in there, and it's a guy who thinks about one thing, and that's scoring goals. A guy who will take the gamble, who will throw himself at balls across the box, who has got the physicality to get in front of his man. And he ain't the option Ange wants to use, Terry. Let's get it right. I mean, it's quite obvious. I mean, there's examples we spoke about at the weekend. Giakoumakis has scored goals and we pulled out the team. Now it seems we'll just keep doing the same thing, and even if Giakoumakis isn't on and Kyogo just isn't there, who cares? We'll keep going. That suggests to me, whoever it is Ange wants to make that substitution for Kyogo ain't behind him. I expect him now to go in January. I'm convinced now. I'm completely convinced. But it did get a bit frustrating first half. Before we get to the Livy goal, when you start seeing, like at Bustalgia, the ball just going across their goal, and it's women, and I think there's 10 elements of the team that is working, 10 players that are doing their job right, Terry. Everything part of our system is working fine. And in that final piece of the puzzle, we don't have. I don't think it's Kyogo's problem, because I don't think he's that type of player. I think Giakoumakis would be the answer to it normally. I'm guessing the reason Ange is choosing not to utilise him in that way is because I'm going to guess there's more to it, Teddy, because it can't be.
There can only be. There has to be something that we're not privy to. There really has to be, because when you use your eyes, you can see what's going on. I can see what's going on. The rest of the support can see what's going on. See the two goals tonight. I thought it was quite interesting. They were virtually identical, except one of them was finished by a Celtic player and the other was finished by a Livingston player. And Kyogo's finish was sort of the.
I commented on that. I said Kyogo's took a leaf out of his book.
It was also a sort of a Giakoumakis type finish as well, where the ball's being driven across and you're getting in there and a first time finish. But the two goals were virtually identical, and I think Ralston played the second pass on both of them. The pass for Abada, for the second goal, Ralston's pass was absolutely superb. And then obviously Abada driving the ball. 2 more assists for him, by the way. Again, yes. boosting his numbers, and possibly maybe should have had a goal. I probably need to go and read up on the rules of football. I don't really know what's going on anymore. What the rules are. I really don't. But
there's debate going on in the live chat about it right now. There's some very much in the camp. He's offside. Look at it. He's offside.
He's offside. He's offside when the ball's played. I don't know if anybody's really debating that when the first pass is played.
But it's not a pass, Terry.
No, but the pass from the Celtic player.
Yes, but that pass ain't a pass. David Timble's got his back to play at that point. He's only just knocking it on. I don't think that's it gets the waters get muddied. And by the way, I'm just stealing all that for Celtic TV, because that's Tosh McKinley was basically saying that ain't quite the rule. Like, if he's got his back to it, he's just knocking it along. Yeah, he's offside there. But the Livy defender, let's get one thing right. If he ain't making an attempt to play the ball, Terry, what is he doing?
No, that's the part. I think Abada's in an offside position when the Celtic player last knocks the ball forward. Abada's offside. However, then the Livingston player makes a movement towards the ball to play the ball, and he plays that ball into the path of Abada. At that point, it doesn't matter if he's offside or not, because the Livingston player has played him in. So I think he was in an offside position to start with, but the Livingston player has motioned towards that ball. Now, he hasn't tried to play it in that direction, but he's tried to play the ball. The fact he's played it in the wrong direction should neither be here nor there. That's his issue. And the bit I don't get is the referee will have known that. He's made his decision. He's happy with it. Then he stands with one hand covering one ear. Then he's got another hand covering another ear. I don't know if he's having 2 conversations in either ear. And then he decides to go over and have a look. And I just don't understand.
For an offside. Now, remember, see the one, I'm going to interrupt a wee bit here, because I'm going to have a wee bit of fun with this, right? Because, I say fun, it's actually me just being frustrated, Terry, is what I'm trying to say. I listen to your Super Scopals and that most days. I don't listen to the full 2 hours, but I listen to it. And they get very patronising about this. I think the host, Gordon Duncan, used to be part of the SFA, right? So he gets very particular about the rules, and he actually becomes a bit condescending and a bit of a smart ass about it, which is fine. But the one thing he kept saying at the start of the season when it went against us, Terry, was, well, but the thing is, you can phone in and have your bones of contention. However, let's get one thing clear. This is a black and white rule. So you can't be wrong with offside. So even, remember the offside with the camera that was off? I mean, we had that dodgy angle.
Yeah.
Terry, took them best part of 5 minutes? No lines shown on the screen again tonight. No lines. Who's offside? Who's not? How are they coming up with the decision? So all this smart ass nonsense is beginning to blow up in their face. That's the point. I just want them to do a screen proof. See when it comes up VAR. I just want them to do a double screen, VAR offside. Then there'll be the other camera just showing the 2 lines. That's where they base their decision on. We move on. Right? Fuck it. We move on. See, instead, I still don't know which part of the play they've decided those 2 lines on. And they know it as well. That's the beauty of this. And see that Gordon Duggan, I'm sure he's a nice lad, but he is being very condescending when viewers phone. No, you can't question this. This is black and white. It's what VAR's been brought in for. Well, I'm sorry. Get Mark Kearney on the phone to them tomorrow and just go, well, okay, where's the evidence though? Where is it this time? Because that's twice now. There's been an offside decision against Celtic goal, whether rightly or wrongly, that we have not seen proper proof of. Celtic's already flagged this to the SFA. There was no lines at any point tonight, Terry. Come on, big boy. There's got to be better.
I don't watch much rugby, Boise, but I've seen when they're doing the video reviews for a try in the rugby, and the conversation starts from the referee in the middle to the guy in the video room with, I've awarded a goal. Is there any reason why that should not be a goal? I think that's how it usually starts off. I'd love to know how these conversations start off whenever there's a Celtic goal.
It's so simple, Terry, though. It's so simple to solve this. You just go, show us the 2 lines at the moment, and if you think it's the ball played by Turnbull, show us that still, show us the 2 lines, and we all go, sound. You're taking that as a pass. I think that's ambitious, but okay, I'll take it on the chin. Right, we can take it on the chin that Turnbull's overhead, or McGregor, whoever it was, sort of left-footed sort of hook over the shoulders, a proper through ball. If you're going for that moment, shows the 2 lines, done. Nipped in the bud. They failed to do that, Terry. They have, I don't know, I'm not going to say colluded because it goes too far, but they're finding reasons, Terry, to go, right, so you don't think it was. And apparently Gary 88 says BBC have described tonight's decision as subjective, which is the whole point. Like, I'll go back. Gordon Duncan used to work for the SFA. He says the one thing that isn't subjective with VAR is offside and the ball being over the line in the goal. He says that's the 2 things that are not subjective. So it'll be very interesting to see the take on this, because that's what I don't get, Terry. Where's the still? And just show it. That's where VAR's made its call on. I think we can all rest on that. Are we cool with that, Terry?
Yeah, I mean, again, I probably don't know exactly what the rule is on this, but if Abada goes on and scores, without the Livingston player being involved from that pass, sure, that has to be offside. If he can't go and score from an offside position. But my thoughts on it then are, once the Livingston player attempts to play that ball, it doesn't matter if Abada's on or off. At that stage, it's been played by the opposition player, and to me, on that basis, the goal stands. I'm not arguing whether Abada was in an offside position.
Yeah, which again, Polymorphous coming in.
Yeah,
he's just tuned in. Of course, you've got an opinion, Polymorphous. I appreciate that, but we're talking about you've just caught the wrong end of the conversation, big man. So I appreciate your point, but unfortunately that's.
I think he was clearly offside, but once the Livingston player goes in and attempts to play that ball, it doesn't matter if he's offside or not. He's played the pass to put Abada through.
Terry, listen to Patrick. They had to send the referee to a screen to give a judgment on whether he's offside or not. How are we're being led up a garden path here, mate, of rules are black and white this way. They're binary, Terry. Binary. It's offside or it's not. Like it or lump it. Then suddenly It's tonight. Oh, we need a third opinion. We need a fourth opinion. We need 10 minutes. That don't make sense to me. This is the thing that I don't get. See if they've decided it's offside. Show this. I know the broadcaster can pick or choose that, whatever. That completely deflects the point. If they had a compelling argument, they don't need the referee to go to the main screen. That's frustrating from the outside, Terry, because it doesn't.
Why are we not getting
the clarity we're looking for?
Why are we not getting the lines, Boise?
Well, I don't know.
The very first game that we had VAR, I could be wrong. I think it was at Hearts. So the Hearts game at Tynecastle, 4-3, and there was a line appeared about 10 minutes after one of the decisions, but I don't think I've seen a line since, apart from that one that was from the opposite end and that we talked about a few months back. The goal that was disallowed for offside, where the camera didn't work, but we got a still from the other end. But we're not seeing lines on a regular basis. We're not seeing anything. And if we're sitting watching it on the TV, I suppose you get to see a few replays and things like that. But for the guys in the stadium, you've absolutely no idea what's going on. You're sitting there, you don't know whether you're supposed to celebrate or not celebrate.
Which is shit, Terry. But yes. I'm going to, David Kelly's someone who comes in a lot, Terry, right? And I tend to agree, but I don't know. I think he's been, let's say he's posted 200 times over the last 12 months. I think I've agreed with 199 of them. But David, tonight I don't like that last sentence. It's not an issue because you keep winning. That, to me, is the problem. Right? It can't be the problem. See, when you're winning, my opinion is that's when you call out. And it's not about the decision being right or wrong, Terry. It's about how is this subjective all of a sudden? We're getting told by the MXM. We're getting told by the media. This is stuff that's black and white. It's done. The offside decision, done. If it's over the goal line, done. These are the ones that VAR can just nip in the bud. And no one can argue because the decision's made and that's the rules. Did they even need the ref to go over? It's not an issue because we keep winning. For me, it's more of an issue. It's more of an issue when we are winning. Because I love highlighting this stuff, Terry, when we're winning and not being a bitter loser. Not my style. I don't like excuses when we get beat. In fact, I'm the only guy who's probably in the world said, I thought Porto were more streetwise than us in 2003. And we need to take it on the chin, and folk don't like that. So I'm the last person to be like that. I just feel tonight, yes, we've won, but we need to look at how has it took that long, firstly. And you're right, Terry, talk about the actual time it's took. If we came to the right decision, maybe that's fair. And I'm not going to argue on that one. How does it take the referee to go to the screen to come up with it, though? The conclusion is being decided by the referee in the park, not the guys in the room that we were told by the likes of Gordon Duncan, black and white. So I don't get that bit, Terry.
It's just the consistency piece for me. That's it. I mean,
it's been consistent, Terry. It's been consistent.
I know.
I don't like being the paranoid
against one club, but it's not consistent across the piece. Is where I'm
going. I don't like being like that. Nah. I don't like being like that, pal. I really don't. Let's talk about the positives. Because at the end of the day, it was a smashing OG. The top pins. That was a belter. What were the takeaways for you for Celtic's display that you thought, fucking hell, that looked good? Or he looked good?
I think it's still the chances that we're creating. I think that's got to be a positive. We're still creating plenty of chances. Yep. I expect, although I've said this before, I expect our luck in front of goal. I don't even know if that's the right word. Luck's probably not, because I think our goal return will increase over the coming games. I think it has to. Probably not actually. One of the good points is the injury to Ralston, and it probably happens at the only time we wouldn't have wanted to happen to, when we've got 3 right backs at the club, but we've actually only got one who's available to play for us at the minute, and he gets hurt.
And he's by the way, I thought it was our best player.
I actually thought he was injured at the weekend in that game. I thought
his injuries are different for yours, Terry. He doesn't take a month off just got a wee scar on his head. Do you know what I mean? Kid on, he's missing. Do you know what I mean? Ralston's a warrior, Terry. You should take a leaf out of his book, big man, because he played with one leg. Do you remember when he gets the heavy challenge? At 2 minutes there, basically he's hobbling, and then he hits a belter of a shot going bottom corner. Keeper has to save it, and you went, fucking hell. But do you know what I loved about Ralston? That through ball for a batter for Kyogo's goal.
It was brilliant. And that's not the first time that he's played that pass. That's a pass we've seen before. And I thought he was excellent. And I really hope there's no sort of long-term injury there, because we can't really afford to be doing without Tony Ralston in the next fortnight.
Terry, how many caps would Tony Ralston have if he was Croatian? I'm just winding you up, mate. Don't worry. You don't actually have to answer it. But like Ralston, I don't see a negative when he's in the team. I don't see it like we've came down. Like, I don't think, like, when Juranovic plays or Ralston plays, I don't feel like, oh, fucking hell, Ralston's like the substitute right back. I don't feel that at all. I feel like today, I thought going forward, these balls in the box are outstanding. I don't think it's his fault. There's not players with that direct attitude to take them.
I think probably when he started to show a bit of form, you're expecting it to drop off, but it hasn't actually dropped off. He's just maintained a level of performance that is really, really good, game in, game out, and I think it's testament to how he's been playing that fans aren't really bothered whether Juranovic stays or goes. To be honest, the conversation's about how much we can get for him rather than it's going to be sad to see him go. It's just probably a pity that we have to wait a few more weeks to get Johnston in, because that would have been an opportunity for Johnston to come on and get some game time at right back. Greg Taylor had to move across. He was pretty untroubled, but it's probably not something we want to see on a long-term basis, is Greg Taylor playing out of position, especially with some of the big games that we've got.
I don't remember Greg Taylor playing left back at any point tonight, Terry.
No.
He was
everywhere but where he should be.
I think he had a bet on. See that first half? I'm sure he had a fiver on with his mate that I'm going to score. First goal for Celtic. He was everywhere in the first half. And but by the way, I'm jesting, because I think you're obviously seeing what this introverted fullback means.
Introverted.
Is that what it is?
Inverted.
Inverted.
Introverted. That's what you are.
I've been speaking too long. I am an introvert. I can think of a few introverts. But I think the inverted fullback role, we're beginning to see it in fruition, where they just pick up. Even Bernabei at one point just picking the ball up in the centre circle. I'm like, I can't get used to that, man. Fucking hell. But Taylor in the first half in particular looked like he had a fiver bet on with his mate. You know what I mean? That I'll get the first goal. Just watch how I play.
Ralston really seems to have nailed it on the other side. But Taylor got himself into some great positions when he was playing on from the right back starting position, but he was having to cut back onto his left. He was in quite a few good positions where he could have got a shot away himself or created an opportunity for someone else, but he was just on the wrong side of the pitch. But I haven't seen any of the post-match interviews or anything like that, so I don't know if there's any sort of initial view on Ralston's injury. We'll probably hear over the next few days what the extent of that is, but fingers crossed he's fit and available for the next few games.
What does Kyogo's goal do for his confidence, Terry? Is he going to get back to the guy he was before, or Jinky is? I think he's in a bit of a malaise. Is that the right word? I just feel he's not got the edge. There was a point where, remember, the ball came up, it was running alongside him, and he hits it first time, but it was like he was doing the thing that we would shout if he didn't. Just get it on target, make the keeper work. But it looked like that was all that was in his finish. Whereas before, there's a bit of he was a bit inventive with his finishing. There was a bit of creativity. There was a bit of conviction. I think that was lacking. I'm not trying to get on at Kyogo here, Terry. I just think there's something missing with him now in his headspace. And I think you're kind of watching it play out right now. And it's a pity because I think he's a player with wonderful ability. I think he suits Ange's style. I can't help but feel right now that he's within himself. There's confidence. I mean, it's very basic, I suppose you could say. There's confidence lacking in him, but just not quite the Kyogo that we've become accustomed to.
He cut a frustrated figure tonight. So even after the goal, if he picked up a yellow card for quite a robust challenge, and then shortly after he almost done the same tackle again, where he slid in round about the same position again.
Yes. He's
not playing with that smile on his face that he had. He had a while back. I don't know. Is it linked to his omission from the World Cup? Has he taken that badly? Has that had an impact on him? Not sure, but there definitely is. There's something missing. The sparkle's missing with him, and I think that's the sparkle's also missing throughout the entire side. And don't know. Just hope that he's able to sort of get that spring back into his step, because we need one of these two strikers to be on their game over the next month or so, because it's going to be a key period for sealing the championship for me.
Well, 100%, and that's what we need to look at as well, Terry. Let's be honest. How many games have we got left now? So when Mickey Beale took over, Mickey, you're so fine. There was 23 games remaining. What is there? 21 games remaining. The points gap hasn't changed, but he's had two moments in time where he's been flapping. We've not had that yet. Yes, okay, we've won just by one goal as well. The Celtics completely dominated the very control of both their games, and our frustrations are from a very positive position. We're judging the sort of the fickle parts because we want perfection. I think they're flapping. They're judging on that was a near miss. There's a big difference. I think right now we just let this play out to the 2nd of January, and I think they're for it. That is my honest take. I think we're due, right? See all the missed opportunities and see all these balls I'm talking about rolling across the 6-yard box. It's all going to come together at some point. Why not make it Ibrox, Terry?
No, absolutely. I fully expect, like I said earlier, the goal output to improve. Let's do it at that game. Absolutely. In terms of Rangers, I honestly, I think we look more likely to increase the gap than they do to close it. I mean, yes, we're sort of, I wouldn't say downbeat tonight, but we're picking out the parts that from a performance that wasn't totally perfect, and that is that we didn't score enough goals.
From a position of strength, Terry.
From a position of strength, absolutely. I've already called the league, called it against Hearts. I've seen absolutely nothing since that makes me think there's going to be any kind of fight back. I watched the guys last night celebrating like they'd won something when actually they were terrible, absolutely terrible. So I've absolutely no concerns about the title race, but I do want to see Celtic putting away their chances and getting the scorelines that our play deserves.
I think it's all coming. I think it's all coming together. The thing is, we as you rightfully say, the things we're pointing out, this isn't us fucking trying to town talk Celtic's winning run. As Belly comes in, 10 in a row wins, that is absolutely spot on. The way we've reacted since the what's it called, St Mirren Park, or it's called Sound Technology. Fuck knows what it's called, that stadium now. But our reaction to that's been phenomenal. I think we're one defeat in, I don't know what it is now, Terry, 45 to 50 games in the league. It's a juggernaut they're up against. And I also think luck has played its part against us at times going forward. You look at some of the cutbacks and you go, do you know what? It's easy to go, Jack and Max would be at the end of that. Or it's easy to say, Kyogo should be at the end of that. But sometimes you go, fucking hell. Another day, that's just a goal. Do you know what I mean? I think it's all coming together. It's all brewing nicely. I feel we're the ones that very much, not just because of the points gap, but because of the performances, we've very much got our hands on the reins on this title race. And that's not because we're 9 clear, 17 goals clear. That's obvious stuff. But I actually think our performances, since their new managers came in for the Revolution, we've came back for the World Cup break, and I think in terms of controlling games, we're the exact same. I don't feel we're under the same pressure anyway. There's obviously little debates to have about strikers and positions and who's better here, and will Juranovic get given a farewell at Ibrox? But these are all really positive conversations. See, imagine your biggest problem or your biggest talking point being, I don't understand how the league's top scorer last year isn't getting more game time. I'll take that conversation, Terry, every day of the week, big man.
Yeah, absolutely. I've no concerns in terms of the league title, just in terms of where we're at right now. Little bit of something missing. I do think it'll all come together. Possibly Ibrox will be the game, because I can't imagine Rangers will sit in on that day. I don't think they'll be allowed to, especially not with the new revolutionary approach.
Unless Jim Goodwin gets a new job.
And I think that'll play into Celtic's hands, because it is tough. Today's game was virtually a carbon copy of the weekend in terms of trying to break down a very defensive unit. And again, I'm not going to criticize that. That's probably the way I would play against this Celtic team. And if we're playing against Rangers and they come out and try to attack us, I think that's really going to play to our strengths, because the spaces will open up for us. We will be able to hit them on the counter attack, and again, it's a game I'm really looking forward to once we get Christmas out of the way here.
Well, Jonathan's absolutely convinced we went to Christmas Day will be 9 points clear. Do you share his optimism, Terry? I know you and Jonathan have a bromance going on, so I know you don't want to disagree with him too much, but now Christmas you've got your Roy Keane beard out. Because we'll be playing on Saturday.
Yeah, so we'll win on Saturday.
We'll win Saturday, so that's 9 points. Will Rangers get the points up at Dingwall?
I'm not convinced. No, I'm not
convinced. I'm not convinced either. I think that sums it up, because we're not concerning ourselves with it, but I'm always going to have my eye on what goes on, and we can all have our opinions on, what happens along the road, etc. Nothing wrong with that. Celtic's put in 2 convincing displays this week, as far as I'm concerned. It's that final touch, that killer instinct. It feels, I don't know, it feels like what we were doing brilliantly in the SPFL, we thought was transferred, wasn't transferred to the Champions League, but then the Champions League sort of form, in terms of not finishing chances, seems to have bizarrely converted into our league form recently. Does that make sense? I mean, it seems a wee bit weird, that aspect.
I think it's just been the story of the season, probably from. We keep going back to the Dundee United game just because it was the 9, and that was the game where everything we touched just ended up in the net. But yeah, in the European games, we probably created far more chances than you or I expected us to create. But if we knew that we were going to create that amount of chances, we would have expected to have a better return in front of goal.
Totally agree with that, Terry.
But then I think we would say in the European games, we have to take these chances. But now we've kind of carried that back into the league again, where we're creating an abundance of chances, but we're not putting them away. I'm just thinking here, though, St Johnstone are probably one of the teams that we do end up scoring quite a lot of goals against. So I'd be very confident that we can come out of Saturday with the 3 points, and maybe that's the game that we get the goal scoring boots back on again.
Oh, that would just be perfect, because that would tee up the derby just perfectly. If Celtic take their chances, convert the chances, they're undeniably creating. I mean, I watched it intensely today, because you're obviously talking about it at the same time. It's kind of, do you know what I mean? It makes it a wee bit more like fucking, you're not getting distracted and going, or looking at your phone. I was totally focused on it. I thought, fucking hell. Imagine trying to do that at Pettorgia at the weekend. That would have been impossible. Do you know what I mean? Like, it would have been impossible to do on that stream. Tonight, I still seen enough examples. I go, fuck me, man. Like, we create enough. I think we're playing a style of football that suits a different type of striker. For whatever reason, I think we can conclude Andrew's decided that ain't going to be Giakoumakis. That might be for far more reasons than just footballing ones. I bow to Andrew's judgment, because he gets hell of a lot right. But right now, Celtic are a rock and rolling, winning machine. It is still -9 out there, guys. So wrap up warm. We've got one more game to go before Christmas. We will be covering, as always, we'll be doing some post-match per Saturday, Terry. I appreciate if you're not free on Christmas Eve. That's totally understandable. But if you are free, you'll be on for the P.M.P. as normal. Anything you want to close with?
Nah, it's all good. All good. Saturday we'll get the 3 points. We'll get the goals coming through again. We'll get the turkey into us. Then we'll sort Hibs out, and then we're on to the derby.
You know it. Love it. Listen, thanks so much to everyone in the chat. There's only 196 watching live right now, which is mind-blowing at 17 minutes to 11 on Wednesday night. Thank you so much. Please hit the like button, hit subscribe, become a member if you want. Slag my hair. I don't care. See you later.
Some of his comments about me deliberately trying to cause controversy. Well, I work in the media now, and you've got someone sitting there next to you who's an embarrassment to the media profession. He's an apologist. He's a charlatan.